What is going on, everybody? David Braga back with another video, and today we're taking a look at the Green Bay Packers 2021 NFL schedule. We've got 17 games to get through, 18 weeks. Can the Packers make it back to the NFC Championship game? Well, I think they get off to a good start at New Orleans. That game is actually being played in Jacksonville due to Hurricane Ida. Obviously, all thoughts and prayers go out to all the families and everybody in New Orleans. Cannot imagine going through that. Um, all the wind and water and damage and loss and everything. And I think New Orleans is going to play inspired football this year. But I think unfortunately for them, I think the Packers get the best of Jameis Winston and the Saints. I think Winston, he's still a turnover machine. I mean, I don't love him as a quarterback one. And Michael Thomas on the PUP list, so he'll be out the first 6 weeks. So I think it'll be a little bit of a rough start New Orleans, especially with this game not being in New Orleans. I think that'll take away a little bit of the effect. Obviously, again, good reason for it to not be in New Orleans. But I think that will just take away from it just a little bit. I like the Packers get off to a good start with a win against the Saints. Then week 2, Monday night against Detroit. Detroit's kind of had Green Bay's number recently, and what I mean by that is they've been leading like the entire game for the last couple of years, and then we just end up kicking a game-winning field goal for whatever reason. Um, I don't think that'll be the case this year. I do not think Detroit is good at all. I think they have a couple pieces. I like DeAndre Swift. I like TJ Hawkinson on the offense, but they lost Stafford, obviously, for Jared Goff, who I think is a severe downgrade at quarterback. They have, I think they cut Perriman at wide receiver, so they have Tyrell Williams and Quintez Cephas, I think, are their top two receivers. And I don't get me wrong, I think those guys are definitely NFL receivers, but I just don't see Detroit posing too much of a threat to Green Bay, especially early on in the season. Jared Goff in a new system. I like the Packers. I think the Packers will win this one big. I didn't really give a score prediction for New Orleans. I think that'll be probably a 7-point game, probably like a 30-23 type game, 30-20 type game. Detroit, I'll go 35-14. I don't think Detroit is very good this year. At San Francisco is definitely an interesting one. San Francisco is a really good team. They had a lot of injuries, a lot of COVID issues last year. It'll be interesting to see how long they go with Garoppolo before they throw Trey Lance into the fire. I think this will still be Garoppolo week 3. Although I do think, depending on how these first 3 weeks go, San Francisco could move on to Trey Lance after this game, or at least as early as after this game. I think they'd wait a little bit longer, kind of depending on how Garoppolo's playing. But this feels like a game that I should pick San Francisco. So, man, and the running game is so. They added Trey Sermon to a running game that already destroyed us once. Granted, that was 2 years ago's NFC Championship game, but man, that it just feels like that's a trap game, if you can consider San Francisco a trap game. So I'll go with the 49ers. It's a Sunday night game, so I like the Packers in primetime a majority of the time, but something about playing in California has gotten us the last couple of years. So I'll go with the 49ers. But I would not be surprised if we won that game at all. So we get 2-1 moving into October. We take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Am I the only one that's low on the Steelers this year? I mean, I just don't see it. They drafted Najee Harris. They have, I want to say they have T.J. Watt on defense, but there's now stuff going around that he could be holding out for money. And if that happens, then God knows when he plays. They've got Minka on the back end. It's just I just don't see it for Pittsburgh. They get Big Ben fully healthy. Apparently he's looked really good in practice and in training camps and everything. But I'm sorry, Pittsburgh fans. just don't see it. I really don't. I think you're the third best team in that division, behind Cleveland and Baltimore, and I really don't see it. So I'm gonna have the Packers taking that one over the Steelers in Week 4. Get back on track after the loss to San Francisco. I think the San Francisco game is gonna be close. That's gonna be a 3-point ball game, like a 28-24 type thing for in favor of the Niners. And then I think we bounce back. I'll give us the W against Pittsburgh. I'll go 30-23 again. So very similar to New Orleans. I think another big, this is a home game for us in October. It's an afternoon kick. It just feels like it feels like a game that the Packers are just going to kind of steadily control the game for a majority of it. I think that'll be a comfortable win. It'll be by about 7, but it'll be a comfortable 7. It won't really feel like Pittsburgh's got too much for us, and we'll end up pulling one out. At Cincinnati, I think is definitely an interesting game. I like the Cincinnati front 7. I like a lot of their pieces on offense as well. I think it'll be a matter of how comfortable is Joe Burrow to start the season. Does he try to force the ball to anybody? How good do T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd do with Jamar Chase as a third wide receiver? I think that's a really solid wide receiver group. But I think the Packers are just a better, more complete team, and I think Aaron Rodgers can make one more play than Joe Burrow at least. So I like the Packers to come out probably a 10-13 point win, maybe a little bit lower scoring. Just because I feel like I need to throw one in there. Actually, I'll throw the lower scoring one in the following week or two. So we'll go 31. We'll go 31-20. No, we'll go 31-17. No, we'll go 31-20. I like 31-20. 11-point win at Cincy. At Chicago is definitely an interesting one. I would assume Justin Fields is definitely the starter by this point. I don't know why he's not the starter week 1. I'm glad he's not the starter week 1. But I think by this point, Justin Fields would be the starter. The question is, how many games has he played to this point? If this is his first game, I'm picking the Packers, and I don't think it'll be particularly close. Even though we've struggled with mobile quarterbacks in the past, this is... Chicago can control the tempo with guys like David Montgomery, and if Justin Fields is running the ball and is the starter, they can control the clock a little bit more. But I still think we're just better than Chicago. Noon kick in Chicago. If a team is going to beat us in the NFC North this year, I don't think it's Chicago, even with Justin Fields. I'll go with the Packers 20-13, a little bit lower scoring. But I like the Packers against the Bears in Chicago. Next up, the Washington football team. I think this is another really interesting matchup. Washington it doesn't feel like Washington has it quite yet. They certainly have it on defense, and its name is Chase Young, as well as, that defense made Tom Brady look silly in the playoffs last year. I mean, they almost got Tampa last year in the wild card game. So I certainly don't think this Washington team is one to be underrated or looked past, and I do think that could be a little bit of an issue depending on how Washington's season is going to this point. If the Packers are looking forward to those next 3 games at Arizona, at Kansas City, and then a home game against Seattle, this could be a very, very pesky Washington team to get rid of. I do think we do pull out a victory. This is going to be another kind of low scoring game. I like that Washington defense, but then I don't trust Ryan Fitzpatrick to always be a Ryan Fitzmagic, and I think week 7 Washington's going to get Ryan Fitztragic, and they'll lose to the Packers. I'll go another low scoring game. I'll go like 17-13 or something along those lines. This could be an Aaron Jones Antonio Gibson kind of ground and pound, see who bleeds first type game. And I like Aaron Jones just a little bit more than Gibson. So I'll go with the Packers in a close one. At Arizona, man, I'm not going to lie, I really want to pick Green Bay in this one. But Kyler Murray scares the hell out of me. And you guys know how big of a fan of Kyler Murray I am. Arizona scares the hell out of me. And by this point, hopefully Eric Stokes has solidified himself as corner 2, or we've, signed somebody or made a move for somebody or something like that, because D-Hop, AJ Green, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, I mean, that is, God, that scares the hell out of me. I don't think their running backs are the best, Chase Edmonds and James Conner. I do think it's a legitimate two-headed monster in the backfield, but I don't think it's a very scary monster. But Kyler Murray just scares the bejesus out of me. God, I have us what, 6-1 at this point, with the one loss to being at San Francisco. I got bad memories of playing at Arizona too. This is close. I'll go with Green Bay in a shootout. This game scares me though. I'll go with Green Bay, but Arizona, I would not be surprised if Arizona beat us. I think our defense is maybe a little bit better than Arizona's, but this is gonna be a shootout. This could be first team to 40, honestly. Just skip the time, just play to 40. Whoever gets there first wins. But I'll go Green Bay 35-31 in a shootout in the desert. I'll take the Packers over the Cardinals. And then next up, we play at Kansas City. That'll be one of the games of the season. We'll finally get Rodgers v. Mahomes. Of course, the last time we played at Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes was out, and we got to play against Chad Henne. And it was a really close game. And with all that being said, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to do more against the Packers defense than Aaron Rodgers is going to do against Kansas City's defense. I think Green Bay is one of the few offenses that can get in a shootout with Kansas City and win, but I don't think it happens this time. I think the Chiefs just get us. This could be another, big shootout like it was Arizona. We do get a lot of rest, the Arizona game being on a Thursday, but I don't think that matters a whole lot here. It might, but I'm going to go Kansas City in another shootout. I'll go 31-28 Kansas City in that one. So I've got us sitting at 7-2 through 9 weeks. That should be pretty solidly in first place in the NFC North. I'm going to rattle off these next 3 pretty quick so we can get to the bye week. I like us against the Seahawks, especially in a home game. If this game was at Seattle, I don't think I would pick us, but because it's in Green Bay, I like that home crowd against Seattle. The Packers fans do not like Seattle for, very obvious reasons. Cue Fail Mary replay. But I like us to win that one at home. At Minnesota, I think if there is a division loss, it's going to be this game, so I'll take the Vikings in this one. We get a rematch in January at home in the snow. I think we'll get them there, but we'll get to that later. So I have a splitting there against the Vikings, so a win against Seattle, loss against Minnesota. And then right before the bye, we get a lot of people's kind of sleeper team. I don't really know that the Rams are a sleeper team because I think they're pretty solidly in the NFC Championship game discussion. Right there with Green Bay, right there with Tampa, right there with a team like Seattle. This NFC West is loaded. The Packers' schedule is just brutal here. Arizona, Kansas City, Seattle, Minnesota, LA. This is a horrible stretch for the Packers. Currently, I have us 2-2 through these 4 games, and then the Rams. This is a home game right before a bye. This will be right after Thanksgiving. Matthew Stafford is going to load up on one too many turkey legs. The Packers are going to get it done. I know Aaron Donald's fully healthy. I know they traded for Matthew Stafford, who's a steep upgrade from Jared Goff. But I like the Packers against the Rams. Again, Devontae Adams against Jalen Ramsey rematch. That'll be so much fun to watch. This is another one of those really excellent games for the Packers. But I like us to get that one done. So we go 3-2 over this 5-game schedule that is just brutal. So I have us 8-4 through 12. Again, this is just an absolutely brutal schedule to close it out. I like us to beat Chicago at home. Again, I think we are just better than Chicago. Would not be surprised if, Chicago's a little bit, feisty in this one. They're probably looking for a playoff spot late in the season. They're probably right around that 7 spot. But this is a really tough NFC. And the Packers will be wanting to win this game for a first-round bye. So I got the Packers taking down the Bears. At Baltimore, this is another one very similar to Arizona that just scares the hell out of me. Lamar Jackson running. I can already see him just toasting Chris Barnes and, was it Campbell? Devondre Campbell, I think, was the other middle linebacker that we're going to have. I can just see him running right by them for a 40-yard touchdown. I can already see it happening. This will be another high-scoring game, but I like the Packers' offense just more than I like Baltimore's offense. And Baltimore also without J.K. Dobbins, I think that matters a lot, even this late in the season. And again, they're looking at some possible replacements, a guy like Le'Veon Bell, a guy like Todd Gurley. There are some running back free agents that are available. But I think even to this point in the season, I think missing J.K. Dobbins and there's what's his name? Justice Hill also hurt and done for the year. I think that's going to matter even this late in the season. I like the Packers in a close one, high-scoring game. Marlon Humphrey against Devontae Adams, that'll be a fun matchup to watch, but I like the Packers in that one. Cleveland, the final team on here that scares the bejesus out of me. This is a terribly tough schedule for the Packers, getting the AFC North and the NFC West on their schedule. Cleveland, this game kind of reminds me of the Titans game last year. A late game opponent with a stellar running game at home in the snow, probably. And this one gets the added bonus. It's on Christmas. So I guess the big question is, do I think we repeat what we did against Tennessee against Cleveland? And you guys know I love me some Baker Mayfield. But there is no way that Baker Mayfield comes into Lambeau on Christmas and gives us an L. I'm taking the Packers over the Browns on Christmas. That's the Saturday game. Man, it's going to be another fun one, though. There's a lot of fun games on the Packers schedule, but there's no way they come into Lambeau on Christmas and get a win. It's just not going to happen. And then we close it out, Minnesota and at Detroit. I don't think there will be too much of an issue in either of these games. Minnesota, obviously, a home game, and then at Detroit. They're playing in a dome. They're going to get a nice, relaxing game right before the playoffs. I don't think they can relax too much because they'd be 13 or 12-3, or 12-4, excuse me, at this point. That could be right around where teams like Los Angeles, like San Francisco, like Tampa Bay, right around where those teams could be. So I don't think they can relax too much, but they're going to have a nice, easy time in Ford Field. I like them to pull out with a dub. I've got us 13-4, 3 straight seasons with 13 wins, but there are definitely games I could see going the other way. Again, this is an absolutely brutal schedule. Washington, Arizona, Kansas City, Seattle, at Minnesota, Los Angeles, at Baltimore, Cleveland. I mean, this is Pittsburgh started the season 11-0. As low on them as I am, they were 11-0 at week 12 last year. At New Orleans is no pushover. They're 8-1, I think, over the last 2 years without Drew Brees. San Francisco is going to have all their people healthy. Let me know what you think. I've got us 13-4. I think that'll be good enough for the 1 seed, but it'll be close. It'll probably come down to Green Bay and Tampa. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Am I too high on my boys? Am I not giving the boys enough credit? What games do you think I should flip-flop, go between a win and a loss? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new and you haven't already. I live stream as many Iowa State and Green Bay games as I can. And I'll be throwing some other games in there too. So if you're not a fan of those teams, leave in the comments what games you want me to watch, and maybe we'll take a look at those ones. So again, let me know in the comments what you thought. Subscribe if you're new. Click that bell to get notified whenever I go live and whenever I upload a video. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.